Howdy folks, it's earlier and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're in the middle of the Vancouver Island bush trip. It's a long one, but the first leg was absolutely spectacular. Completely impressed with this bush trip. I hope you are too, because it looks like you're back for leg 2. It's a long one leg per video for this trip, so let's get going. Alright, let's come over here and repair and refuel. There we go. Let's zoom this thing out because we are way too zoomed in. There we go. Alrighty, also if you want to know the overall thing of the island, we started here and we flew here, and then we're going to go around the island and end up like around here. That's what the overall map said. So we're going around the island like that. And so far I am completely impressed with what we get to see. Let's zoom out to the airport. Disappears. There we go. Alrighty, let's see. Where are we on the runway? Do we have to come back, or are we already at the end? Oh, whoa. They're starting us on the very end. Yeah, I know. We're going to need this whole thing. This airplane takes a long time to take off. So we're going to go flaps second to last. No autopilot. We talked about that extensively in the previous leg. It looks like we have GPS again, because for the longest time, like almost every bush trip, the GPS would disappear after the first leg, but we still have it. So what we did in the previous leg is we'll just read the navigation and then just manually follow the GPS, because there's no autopilot. At least I can't even get the keyboard version of autopilot to work either. So we'll just follow the GPS and enjoy it. I mean, like I said in the previous leg, we have navigated in all kinds of different possible ways, from 100% manual without a map to fully autopilot on GPS. We've done it all. We have nothing to prove to anybody, so we're just going to follow the purple line and enjoy it. And enjoying it so far, we have been. I am so excited about this bush trip. It's up there with my favorites, so that's awesome. Alrighty, here we go. Hopefully we can stay on task with this, because before we got way ahead in reading, because the headings were all so similar that it looked like we were somewhere else and I got ahead. So hopefully I can stay in the same correct spot this time. After lifting to the sky, sight Highway 19 to the northwest and follow it to Nimkish Lake, and that's about 6.5 minutes out. So no autopilot to set up, so we'll just follow the line. Nimkish Lake, 6 minutes out. It might be this one here. I don't know. We will find out when we get there, because whatever the GPS says in time, wherever we are when it runs out, that's what we're looking for. So I think we are good. Parking brake is on because we were rolling away when I started the sim. So here we go. We'll hold the regular brake a minute till we spool up, and it just broke through the brake. Okay. Okay, fine. Here we go. Oh, I see what happened. The previous leg took the entire runway because, here coming up, brakes up the wheels, because I had the parking brake on and it broke through the parking brake. That's interesting. That's why it took so long in the previous leg to take off. Whatever, doesn't matter, now we figured it out. Okay, what's it say? 9 minutes out. That'll come down as we gain some speed. As far as the altitude, we will stay nice and low. We were at 1,200 feet for most of the first leg until we had to climb some mountain ridges, and we climbed. So let's stay about 1,500 feet if I can. We'll see, because we had some hard time adjusting the attitude in that previous leg, if you remember. It was doing its own thing. But so far it's doing what I'm telling it to do. So that's good, I guess. So yeah, 7 minutes out now or so, and we'll look for this lake. But in the meantime, let's hop outside with this view, because we can't use drone view, because I use my yoke and my pedals to control the drone, which means we have no control of the aircraft. Which also means we have to hand fly from the cockpit most of it, so most of your views are going to be like this. That's just the way it is. Yeah, I'm confident that's Nimkish Lake right there. So let's just head that direction. Oh my, it's really wanting to climb. Let's not climb that high. I want to stay nice and low for this one. It's a lot more interesting to stay nice and low. That's a cool view. I was using my drone to quickly get a thumbnail before my airplane goes off on its own. And I ran into that really, really cool view, but now we have to get back in and fly the airplane. So back in the airplane, still heading to Nimkish Lake. We're just following the river, but then there's the Highway 19 it told us to follow. So even though we have the GPS line, we're still able to find what we would normally be finding manually. Not that complicated once you've done it plenty of times. And that glare is kind of driving me nuts, but I like the immersion. Just love the immersion. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm definitely going to find a place to come here with my wife. If we can ever get away from the kids. Like I noted in the previous video, my wife has been on 9 exotic trips with her mom and sister without kids over the years. 1 every year, sometimes 2 in a year. I have been on 0 exotic trips and 0 vacations without the kids at the mountain. As much as I love the kids and as much as I spend way more time with my kids than an average person, not that it's a competition, it's just my lifestyle allows me to spend a lot of time with the kids. I have never had a break in 14 years. So I wouldn't mind a little break. What I would really like to do is take a trip like with 2 or 3 friends somewhere to like a cabin, like no family members, like not even extended family, just 2 unrelated people. That'd be really cool too. But ultimately somewhere with my wife without the kids. And I might look in Vancouver Island. This is super impressive. I do know that it's, well, see, the airplane's doing its own thing again. My nose is completely down and nothing is happening. There we go. Okie dokie. What the heck? Anyway, I do know that Vancouver Island is insanely expensive to visit. My wife's good friend many years ago got married on Vancouver Island, and there was a week-long bachelorette bridesmaid type festivities, and she had 6 bridesmaids and only 2 of them could make it because it was too expensive. And so even at the wedding, she only had 2 bridesmaids at the wedding. It was just too expensive. Couldn't do it, so that's too bad. But from the pictures we saw on Facebook, it was quite the event. I think the cost for lodging and all the activities was going to be $10,000 per bridesmaid. And we're like, sorry, we love you, but nope. So that's too bad. But well, the nose wants to do its own thing again. Alright, it seems happiest at 2,300 feet. That gives me the most control of my airplane. So that's what we're going to do. Is just stay at 2,200 feet, which is a little higher than I want it to be, but at least we're able to control the aircraft for the most part. And it's nosing up again all on its own. I can't, oh god, I can't even push down this time. Hello? Hello? You're going to stall if you don't nose down. There we go. What is with this aircraft? It has to be the aircraft, because I don't have any of these problems. Oh my gosh, it's doing it again. I don't have any problems with any other aircraft, and I've reset all my stuff, so I don't understand what's going on. But anywho, according to this, we're a minute and a half out from our next turn, even though we're obviously entering the lake now. What's the lake called again? Nimkish. I am totally nose down on my yoke, and it's not going down. There it goes. Oh boy. Okay. That was wonky. I don't understand it. Whatever. So we're gonna follow the GPS line here. Will tell us to turn in a moment, I think. We might have to climb over this. Well, let's see, 268. Yeah, we might be. They might send us right over the mountain. We'll have to see where it wants us to go here in 41 seconds as we go over Nimkish Lake. And then we're gonna look for Port Alice. Gain a visual on Victoria Lake, which lies to the west of Nimkish Lake, which is over here somewhere, because west is this way, and I don't see anything here except mountains. Fly over the northern extremity of Victoria Lake and sight Port Alice, a small village that lies on the eastern shore of Neurotos Inlet. So any second now, GPS will tell us to turn, probably, yeah, it's going to tell us to turn to the left. And then we'll look for Port Alice. We have to climb over this, so let's climb. Whoa, okay, fine. You climb then. All I did was start to pull back, and then it went all crazy town on us. That's scary, because we're going to stall if it's not careful here. Let me reset everything. That's weird. Okay, it wants us to go exactly over the highest part of the mountain. Of course it does. Of course it does. Oh man, this is something else, isn't it? Beautiful though, but this airplane is nuts. And there's something wrong with it. Like I said, I reset all my stuff and it's still doing it, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, enjoy the lake while we leave it. And get some altitude as quickly as we can here. Go around this mountain, then we'll turn back to the right. And then we'll look for Victoria Lake. Victoria Lake, and then Port Alice. Here we go, over the ridge. Ooh boy, that's a close one. We're about 500 feet, 400 feet above that ridge. But we're still below the train, which is what I like to do. Look at that. Well, that would be a thumbnail if I didn't have the HUD up, but I'm controlling my aircraft quite a bit, so I can't go back with the drone and lose control of the aircraft for a minute. Or can I? Can I? Quickly. Thumbnail. Try it. Thumbnail. Put the drone away before we hit the mountain. Okay, there we go. Man, look at that. Isn't that something? And like I said in the previous video, everything is fully rendering in this bush trip. I don't know if it was a server issue or what, but the previous two bush trips, I couldn't get everything, or not everything would render in, so it looked pretty hideous. Alright, so one of these two is Victoria Lake. Whoop, now it's turning on its own too. That isn't train turbulence, that's aircraft doing what it wants. So let's get back on our path here so we know which one is Victoria Lake. Probably that one, I'm guessing, based on our heading here. But it really could be either. I'm guessing it's that one. Okay, now that's train turbulence, so let's keep climbing a little bit. Oh, there's an alpine lake. Oh my gosh, how would I love to be there. Oh my goodness. Another one. Oh my word. I need to play back this video and keep track of where we are on a map and see if there's any hiking or lodging in these areas. Although I can't hike this, I would not do well. I have medical conditions that prevent me from doing it, even though I look like a super fit, tall, active dude. You'd be wrong to assume it because I can't do anything. I'm just enjoying the lakes tucked in there, how everything is actually rendered in, the nauseating train turbulence, that valley over there. How are we doing? Should we keep climbing? Let's keep climbing. Haven't had to do anything with the mixture yet. And we're still 9 minutes out because we've been climbing. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Victoria Lake there. And then we're looking for Port Alice after that. Oh, there's our first nasty looking cliff, but that's okay. Everything else has been great so far. We can see out to the ocean. And then the next bit of land. That's cool. I didn't even think you could see the ocean from up here, but of course you can. There's ocean there too. Of course you can see ocean. Alright, I don't think we need to go any higher. I think that was our highest point in this whole trip. Let's just stay here and look for Port Alice, which is still quite a ways away. Yeah. Still quite a ways away yet. And then there'll be Drake Island, but we'll talk about that when we get there because I don't want to get ahead and mess up our navigation and narration like we did last time. That's a cool looking lake too. I knew there were mountains on Vancouver Island, but I didn't realize it was like 100% mountains. So I'm glad I'm learning some things here. And there's Victoria Lake right in front of us. Might as well have some views outside with Circle Cam. There's the ocean, and there's mainland Canada there. This own ranges of mountains. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. Oh man, look how nice that is. Wow. Another beautiful view out the window. Man. I'm just so happy that I'm including you in everything. I'm not cutting out much at all, which I think is okay. I think that is totally okay. And since I have to hand fly with this crazy aircraft that does whatever it wants, I can't do my drone view sightseeing that we normally do in bush trips, which is why we're having me talk through the whole thing. But I don't think many of you mind. A few of you leave comments that I talk too much, but 98%, 99% of you love the talking. Some of you have told me to talk more and not do the sightseeing, so this is for you. That's how we're doing this one. So it says to fly over the northern extremity of Victoria Lake, which means that this might actually be Victoria Lake then. We're flying over the northern extremity, and then there's a village on the what part? On the eastern shore of the inlet. So this whole thing here is the inlet, obviously. So I guess we're looking for a village probably here? Maybe? I mean, we are spot on with the navigation, so that means the inlet is right, or the village is here, but we're going to veer to the right a little bit, so we don't have to climb again. And then which way is it going to have us turn 298? Yeah, it's going to have us turn to the north anyway. So we'll just kind of fly through here, and then look left for the village, and then read about the next thing when we get there. But yeah, so this would be Victoria Lake. If I'm wrong, I'll put an editorial note, and then I'll look up what lake this is if I can figure it out, and I'll let you know that too, down below of the video. The inlet is in view now, and then that village will be right behind this mountain, so we'll look left in a moment. So after Port Alice, which we'll see right here behind the mountain, continue north-northwest following the new road, so inlet to Drake Island, so we'll follow this inlet to Drake Island, which could be, maybe, one of these islands here, perhaps, I would guess. But we'll just see where the purple line takes us when it's time to look. And as we crest the mountain, we'll look for the village in just a moment. I just wanted to get a view of all this here. There might be some villages over there too. There, oh, there it is. Can't miss it. It is right there. Cool. We'll look at it from outside once we pass the mountain a little more. So we should be turning any second now towards Drake Island. So let's come down to elevation a little bit. Let's get back down to like our 2,000 feet or so. So bring back throttles to come down. Except it's not coming down. It seems to want to stay where it is. And can we see the village yet? Just about we can. There we go. Part of the village anyway. Oh, we're coming down pretty steep here. Keep an eye on that speed on the left, and then using the top left compass to make our turn. And there we go. Hop inside, make our turn. And 3.5 minutes out is Drake Island. We'll see which one it is based on the GPS. It's probably that one there. That's what I'm going to guess. And we're heading away from the mountains. We've flown over Vancouver Island now, if you were wondering. And now we're heading back out to the west side. We kind of went from the west coast across it, and now we're going back to the west coast, and then we'll circle around to the east coast. That's how the overall trip is laid out based on the map that loads while you're waiting. That's pretty cool how the inlet kind of spills out and around. Oh, wait. Look at the teeny tiny island. The teeny tiny island right here. I want to be there. That's where I want to hang out. Oh, our nose is going up on its own again here. That's where I want to be, is that teeny tiny island next to this Drake Island, which is a big old mound. That's pretty cool. So what is after Drake Island then? We're going to turn to the west. From Drake Island, follow Quetzino Sound to the southwest to Cape Parkins, which lies on the northern aspect of Quetzino Sound's opening to the Pacific Ocean. So we're going to head out back to the ocean. Quite a ways away, 7 minutes out or so. Cape Parkins. Alrighty, cool. So let's hop outside, I guess. There we go. There's Drake Island right underneath us. And then some cool little islands next to it. And there's the whatever they called it. I forgot what. Oh my gosh, why am I brain? Let's see, what do they call that? The inlet. Alright, Drake Island. Nice hanging out with you, but we're gonna go to our next thing now as we go over the mound. Will it let me? I don't think so. Let's not nosedive here and get too much speed. Yeah, we don't want to overspeed the aircraft. Alrighty, here we go. To the Cape, right? Cape Parkins. Cape Parkins straight ahead in 7.5 minutes. Looking back at Drake Island. And interesting how the mountains have like all disappeared pretty much. I mean, it's like hills over here, but it's almost like we didn't even go through those mountains. Isn't that crazy how quickly it can change? Man, that's crazy. Wow. Interesting, actually. And we're flying at a low 2,000 feet or so. Smooth and steady. Going as fast as I dare go without overspeeding the aircraft. Because I do not want to crash it by stressing it and have to redo the leg. It's a lot of work to hand fly, especially for an hour or something at a time. Oh, it wants to go up again. Anyway, let's look for the Cape. It is 5.5 minutes out yet. Ooh, another island that must get a lot of evening sun. It looks pretty smooth out here, relatively speaking, even though there's still a bunch of hills and stuff, but compared to what we had seen, it's pretty smooth anyway. Some hills and switchbacks to greet people who enter the Cape by water vessel. And again, to like kayak this area would be so awesome and exciting. It would be so cool. And then we'll have a few views outside here before we read about the next thing. Look at that. Not as cool as the beginning when we had that river that went into the mountains though. That was amazing. Near the beginning of the first leg. That was quite spectacular. A lone tree right there. Alrighty, as we enter the Cape, let's read about the next best thing here. Cape Parkins, that's where we're entering right now. That's this area. And then we're going to turn steeply to the right, follow the coastline, staying just inland of the shore to San Joseph Bay, which is 7.5 minutes out. So we'll wait for the GPS to tell us to turn. And we'll follow this coastline until we reach a bay that's quite some time away. Then we'll read about the next cape, but not until we get to the bay. One thing at a time. And with fuel, we need to change tanks so we don't, is it up? There we go. Switch tanks because we're going to, get lopsided. See, I can't remember what the percentage is for this aircraft, but sometimes you want to be within like 20%, sometimes it's 17% difference, sometimes it's like 7. I don't know for this aircraft what it is, but we don't want to get much more off balance than that. Let's just say that. Not too shabby looking as we're about to make our turn any moment here, and even with the trim, I'm just fighting this nose. Not as bad as in the beginning, but it's not really cooperating with me very much here. It keeps wanting to go straight up for some reason. Those rocks down there rendered in quite nicely. There's like a building down there too, but I have to use the drone. Can I use it for a second? There we go. That's cool. Look at those buildings. Maybe my wife and I can stay there, then kayak inland. I don't know. And it's going to have us turn any second now. There it goes. Let's look out the window while I make the turn, because that's fun. And we'll stay just inland, it says, so we'll keep our altitude, which is what? 2,500 feet we climb to. And that'll keep us just above these hills. And we'll look for this bay, Joseph Bay? San Joseph Bay. It's 7.5 minutes here. And then they're looking back into the Cape, where we came from. This was down in here. There's Drake Island. You can see the hill. And then we're going to head along the western coast of Vancouver Island, and you can see how the water comes in there. And we're going to turn to the right and just follow the coast. Make a big old circle. And the final leg will land pretty close to where we took off from. It won't be like that one bus trip where we landed at the airport next to the one we started from, like right up against it. That was pretty cool, but we'll land pretty close to where we started this bus trip. Some more exposed rock. That's really cool. The autogen trees know not to go there. Very cool. If you looked at a satellite image of this, it would be exact. I'm sure of it. And then there's a Pacific Ocean. I did allow us to climb to about 2,800 feet because of the train turbulence was just too wild. So we did climb a little bit. Might even climb a little bit more as we deal with the turbulence. And I've been trying to stabilize this aircraft and trim the daylights out of it, but this aircraft is just very tricky to cooperate. Not sure what's going on there, but well, same stuff as we saw a minute ago. I just want to talk about the elevation change because I made a liar out of myself. I was going to stay much lower. But it's much more comfortable up here. And isn't that a beautiful view? Let's soak that in. Wow. That's crazy. And the mountains here are much, much lower than they were in the center, because now we're at the northern part of the island. Where before we were in the center of the island. It's a very different terrain. Beautiful though. Just beautiful. Ooh, what island is that out there, I wonder? That's interesting. And what is that big splash? Like the 1,000 foot long speedboat? What the heck is that all about? That's kind of weird. But that's really cool there. So our bay has been spotted. What is it? San Joseph Bay? It's going to be this thing right here. Then we'll read about the Cape once we get there. But for right now, let's battle this train turbulence that we have to get to the bay, which is right there, which you can also see from here. And I bet they have some really amazing sunset views from the top of these hills. I bet it's spectacular. I mean, there's still a good 1,000 feet high, 1,500 feet. We're climbing this 3,000 now to get out of this train turbulence. And they're not that far below us, so maybe they're 2,500 feet or so. Those are pretty good sized hills. There must have been a landslide here, huh? That's pretty interesting to see that the satellite imagery made it in the sim like that when the road switchbacks up. So they probably had to clear that road at one point. I wonder if these are landslides too up here. It's quite possible. I mean, all this could have been landslides, I guess, right? Interesting. And there's our San Joseph Bay with some islands in it. Alrighty, so let's read about our next thing, which is Cape Scott, which isn't too far away, I guess, 4 minutes away from San Joseph Bay. Continue tracking the coast, remaining just inland, and deal with the train turbulence. Cross Hanson Bay, then pass over Geese Bay, and sight Cape Scott. So we've got some bays over here. This is probably Hanson Bay, and then maybe this is Geese Bay, and then this is Cape Scott here, I'm guessing. Not entirely sure. We'll find out in 4 minutes though. The northern part of Vancouver Island. Yeah, so that has to be the first bay, the second bay, and then the Cape is right here. Okay, the area around Cape Scott is protected by Cape Scott Provincial Park and the coastline in the region. Some of the most ruggedly beautiful in all of Canada. Okay, cool. So we'll get up to this cape, and then we'll look for some beautifully rugged coastline, I guess. Okie dokie. And then when we get there, we'll read about the channel. Actually, let's read about the channel right now, because this is a channel. Well, no, it isn't, because it's 10 minutes away. Never mind, we'll read about the channel when we get to the cape, I guess. And then we'll look for this rugged coastline. Looking forward to it. There's that island we spotted, and that isn't a big ship at speed. It's an island that's white. Okay. whatever island that might be. Let's hop outside. Ooh, there is some rugged coastline down here. We haven't even made the corner yet. Look at that. So maybe we should stay away from being inland if we want to see the rugged coastline, right? Let's look around here. We got some bays and rivers, some inlets. There's the first bay. Here's the other bay with some islands in it. You can kayak in this thing. That'd be really cool. We got the mountains in the background. So awesome. I'm just gazing, sorry. Then the water, like smooth water, windy water. Cloud reflections in the Pacific Ocean. And then Japan, way over there. And Hawaii, way over there. And Russia, way over there. That's awesome. That is awesome. Alrighty, let's see. Let's stay on target here with our purple line. And then pretty soon they'll have us change direction over here. But here's the cape coming in here, so let's stay outside a minute. It just looks too good. Too good. Look at that. Beautiful. Makes me want to land right there. I bet we could. Not in this airplane, but in the right airplane, we could definitely land there. I'm using the drone a little bit because the airplane is pretty stable. And it is very rugged. Look at the waterways moving. Oh my gosh, the water moves so beautifully in this sim now. I know they put a lot of work into the water. Oh, it's slowly turning on its own, but let's just look at this rugged coastline for a minute. It's just beautiful. Even from up here you can tell. Alright, we gotta get back inside. The airplane's flying itself. Come back over here until it tells us to turn in a minute. And then we'll read about the channel. Oh, we're out over the ocean now. I don't know when it's going to tell us to turn. But we're getting a lot of like wind and stuff too. That's kind of weird. Any second now, going to have us turn or what? Why are we having so much turbulence over open water? That's weird. There's the turn. Here we go. Look out the window. While we make a steep turn. Actually, I better be careful. I don't want to like screw anything up. But there we go. Over the cape. Looking at the rugged coastline. Wanting to land on that sandy beach. And here we go. I wonder if something washed that away at one time. That's interesting. Alright, here we go. And we got 11 minutes. That'll come down. Whoa, let's not gain so much altitude, buddy. Jeez Louise. Alright, let's regain our lower altitude because we're getting kind of high now. I mean, it's beautiful up high too. It really is. In fact, it kind of looks better up high. But it's more fun to fly low. Anywho, let's stay on track with the purple line and read about this channel. That was down here somewhere. Galatas Channel. Follow the coastline to the east-northeast, passing by numerous coves and tiny inlets to arrive at Galatas Channel, which separates northeastern Vancouver Island from the Ngii Island. The Ngii Islands. Okay, so there's a channel that separates islands 10 minutes away. And then we'll read about these other things once we get to the channel. Shouldn't be too difficult. I'm going to slowly decrease our altitude though. Without gaining too much speed because we're getting too high. Like I said, it's actually quite beautiful up here, but it's more fun to be low. I'm going to try using the drone for a minute, as long as we don't let the airplane do anything too crazy. There's a rugged coastline, more of it. Island in a lake, my favorite. It's just so beautiful, but look at all this. I mean, look at this. Lakes and land, coves. We gotta put this away because the airplane's turning on its own. Anyway, keep going. Got another 8 minutes or so here. That's amazing. We have a set of Tetons here hanging out together. And then some low-lying areas. I want to look on a map and see where people live. Because other than those 3 villages, I haven't seen any sign of life. I guess we did on that island out there by that cape, but I haven't seen any sign of life or anything. But look at all these coves. Cove, 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 and it turned to the left all by itself. What's going on? Well, there's quite the terrain change. We've got some sparse trees and some podzol based on Minecraft, because that's what it looks like to me. It's podzol. Maybe it really is podzol with a little lake in the middle there. Some little rivers, and then you can see up ahead the other island and the channel here. Already forgot the name of the channel and the island, but in 4 minutes we'll read about the next thing and I'll tell you again what it is. Looking outside, the train did pick up, so we did create. We did climb in altitude a little bit more because of the train turbulence was getting crazy again. The train is sloped up. You can't really tell. Oh, look, the wind farm, but it does creep up on you. So we climbed ourselves a little bit. That's a gorgeous river going through there. That would be fun to kayak, I think. Otherwise, this little lake would be fun to kayak. There's a little river that goes through there, maybe. Something's carved out there. What do we got for altitude? Okay, we're coming down now a little bit. I'm just letting the train turbulence kind of tell us where to go. As long as you don't overspeed, I'm not too worried about it. But here's the channel, 2 minutes out before we make our turn, so let's read about the next greatest thing here. What was this? The Golitzis channel, that's right. With like Nigili Island, I guess. Right there, pretty big island. Probably has lots of scary animals on it. So it's going to turn us a little bit, not much. And then in 7 minutes, there's going to be the tiny Duval Island, which lies to the northern opening of Hardy Bay. So there's going to be a tiny island, which we'll know what it is when the GPS turns us that way and the timer runs out for the next thing. Then we'll know which island it is. Probably that one right there, I'm guessing. That little island right there. Or it could be one of these tinier ones on the map. We'll have to see where GPS puts us. And after that, well, I guess right next to it is Hardy Bay. We'll turn and enter Hardy Bay, sighting the town of Port Hardy. We've been here in Port Hardy. We've been here in the sim before. And then we'll spot the airport from there. It's a pretty good sized airport. Sight Beaver Harbor to the southeast of Hardy Bay. And then land at Port Hardy Airport, which lies just to the southeast of Beaver Harbor. So GPS will tell us to turn here in a minute, and then we'll find a teeny tiny island, which is Duval Island, and then from there we'll find Hardy Bay and the airport. So we're pretty close to being done. It might take us about the hour, not much longer than the hour than it said it would take us, but we're not done yet. Pretty close though. Holy moly, that's looking good. Look at that. I love how there aren't any trees here. It's like a hilly plains biome. There's some tiny islands I wouldn't mind hanging out on though. Wouldn't mind at all. These are too much in the open for me. Don't you want us to turn yet? There's another tiny island that just went under the wing. Whoa, let's get a good scenic position here. Let's stop climbing again. And there's our turn. Ever so slightly to the east. I'm pretty sure that's our Duval Island. It has to be. We'll find out in 7 minutes and 11 seconds. As we can line up with our purple line here, I might be wrong. That might not be Duval Island. Duval Island might be something else out here, like that perhaps. We're going to find out together. Because we have a ways to go till we get to our airport, which is Zulu Tango, which isn't, oh, it's down here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's Duval Island right there. We'll find out. We'll try to stick to the purple line and wait till the time runs out, because now I really want to know. And then we'll come in for a landing. So let's stay about... Oh, our airport is lighting up. That's kind of funny. Let's stay about 2,500 feet, maybe even lower. Looks good from here though. I don't know, we'll see. It's pretty smooth though. So we might not have to make any changes. Here's mainland Canada, by the way, if it isn't obvious. The Canadian Rockies in the background. There's a road going through that island. I think I found it. I think it's this one right here. I'm pretty sure it's that island right there because it's just off the opening of Hardy Bay. Remember, it said it lies just at the opening. I mean, it could be that one, but I think it's that one right there. Super, super tricky. Let's stay on target here. Got 3 minutes out till we get there, and then we'll spot the airport, which is already on the GPS. And we'll figure out the best way to land. Ooh, look at that. Oh my gosh. That is awesome. I did let the airplane gradually get lower because our airport is coming up. Look, you can't miss it. It's lit up like a Christmas tree, man. That's really funny how the sim is lighting it up for us. I love gazing at those Canadian Rockies from here. Look at that. Well, a lot of little islands. It'd be fun to sailboat around here. That's a little story time topic, I guess. Sailboat. I was with my wife and her good friends who had a sailboat at the Apostle Islands. You can look that up. Part of Wisconsin on Lake Superior. First time I'd been on a big sailboat. I'd been on like a tiny, tiny sailboat. It was with my friend growing up. Did some crazy things, but this was a big one. Like you could sleep. There's a bathroom. Blah blah blah. There's two people to operate it, and it was just an amazing experience to go around the water, Lake Superior, around the islands, and then we caught this crazy gust, and it knocked us over more than the 45 degrees. There's a huge heel and stuff, but it was kind of scary, even though I knew what was going on. And the guy barely got the sailing in time because his wife wasn't quite understanding what to do. We'll head towards the airport now. So that was kind of scary, but it was still fun. And then my wife did get kind of seasick, but I loved it. I have some great pictures of their dog leaning to stay upright, where I made the boat look up and down and the dog was tipping. Oh my gosh, that's the coolest pictures ever. But then we slept on it. I loved it. We parked in, I think we parked at Bayfield, Wisconsin, and we stayed on the boat overnight. It was super awesome, super intimate. It was really cool. I loved it. And they were good friends of my wife. They're like 20 years older than us too at the time. We were like in our mid-20s. So they would have been like in their 40s, but it was an amazing experience. And there's our Duval Island right there. See, pointing right at it. Boom. That's really cool. You can like kayak around it probably. But anyway, I wanted to go swimming off the sailboat, but the water was like 62 degrees or something, which was a huge bummer. So I wasn't able to. It was in the fall on Lake Superior, so no surprise. But they actually had to have their dog on a tether. Look at those lakes, different elevations too, and a house. The dog was on like a stretchy tether because when the boat would heel, the dog would try to jump off the boat. It was a full-size pool. So that's pretty cool. I loved it. It has nothing to do with Vancouver Island, but it's a sailboat story, I guess. And there's a town. I guess you could live there, then drive or hike back to those lakes, maybe? I don't know, but I definitely am going to start daydreaming about visiting this place with my wife. Because this is incredible. Of course, it would be insanely expensive to get there, let alone stay there, but I'm going to look into it. I'd rather do something like this than go to France. Alrighty. Final looks outside. We'll use the Circle Cam. Now it's lit up normally from this camera. There's the city. There's the port. It's up on a hill. Look at that. And looking at the mainland Canada. Put the toys away and let's land this airplane. Let's start slowing down. And maybe descending a little bit. Oh my, now the plane is acting weird again. That's okay. As long as it lands without crashing, it'll be fine enough. Ooh, getting some train turbulence as we cross over the land here. That's okay. That was a cool river back there. Alrighty, let's prepare for landing, get comfortable in our seat. My rear end is a little sore. I've been hand flying for an hour, over an hour. So I couldn't just let autopilot do its thing and walk away while I gave you sightseeing, which I've done before. Sometimes I'll set up a sightseeing shot for you all and then just do laundry or something, but because I have to hand fly, I need to sit, and it's numbing my tush a little bit. Alright, let's see here. Let's start slowing down. We'll get geared out in a minute. We'll throttle back, but then nose up. Nose up to slow down, throttle back so we don't descend. Or change our descent rate. We have a really good descent rate going here. And gears down. Let's not sink. This is the right airport, right? I thought it was a bigger airport than this. No, that's right. We're just aiming for that runway. It's just because of the angle, you can't see the other runways. Okay, come here. Let's not get too low too soon. I'm fighting my yoke and it's not doing much. So hopefully I have enough control to land in this weirdo airplane. Because it is a weirdo airplane. A little bit of train turbulence, which is fine. Fine with me. Looks gorgeous. Holy cow. More islands off to the left. Do you see that? Alright, let's get in the flap range here. Again, the runway is way plenty long. You don't have to touch at the very tippity tip. You could aim for the touchdown zone for once. And let's bleed off some speed here. This is getting kind of fast. First set of flaps. There we go. Coming in hot again, but we'll be fine. Full flap, a little early, but that's fine. Get ready on the brakes. Throttles have been back for quite a while. And round out nicely. Let it float down. And boom, nose wheel down gently. Brakes to stop the brakes to stop the airplane. Flaps coming in. Our fuel management was good too if you look over there. Alright, how long did this take us? Only 8 minutes longer than it was supposed to, which is fabulous. Alright, so far so good. I'm really loving this bush trip, and you know the drill. Like and subscribe so that you know when the leg comes out next, leg 3, next leg, and I'll see you then.